Today, we're going to be taking our first steps into using the communication matrix. Now, it's a fancy title, but essentially, the communication matrix is the automations that are going to help start removing manual tasks from our workload, right? So this is going to be a really powerful section that we dive into, and I'm going to actually cover it over the next several days because we're going to start building out these automations that are going to help you be super successful. The ultimate goal being, as we remove these things from your plate, you're able to spend more time with your customers, with your past clients, and with your leads so that you can build those better relationships that ultimately help grow our business. So that's the ultimate goal. Let's keep that in mind. But the very first thing we need to do is build out a template for a message that we're going to send them. So let's go ahead and let's dive into SAM, and I'll show you exactly how we do that. All right, so starting out inside of SAM, on the left-hand side, we're going to click into the templates section. Now, a couple things to note before we get started. On this left-hand side is going to be where all of the different templates appear. You may not have one just yet, but we are going to fix that very shortly. So if you wanted to search for a template, you could search by either the title or the subject line. You can scroll through your list of all the different templates, but let's go ahead and let's build ourselves a new template. So on the right-hand side, there's a button that says New Template. We're going to go ahead and click into that. Like I said, the title is just kind of the overall theme of the message. So maybe this is a new lead welcome email. Now, the subject is going to be the subject of the email, and perhaps it's something like, here is your first time homebuyer guidebook, right? So we're going to be looking at using the first time homebuyer guide that we had created for our resource, and we're actually going to build out the template so that it can be automated and sent out to them as they come in. So from here, we would either write our message or we can do a couple of other things that I'm going to show you in just a second. So perhaps you have your message written out already, and it would be like, hey, so great to have you. Here is that first time. Oh my goodness. Home buyer guide. It is so hard to write and do tutorials. Oh my goodness. And so we would be able to do that. But let's go ahead and let's assume that we don't have it created just yet. This is going to be where we can really leverage SAM to help us do something really powerful. So if you click these little shimmers, we can actually have SAM help us create our message. So this is really cool. So the message objective, if you guys remember back to your resource creation, the objective is just the overall goal. What is the goal of this? And our objective is going to be something along the lines of write a message I can send to a new lead that will have the first time home buyer guide they requested access to. Now, I do want to ask them where they are in the home buying process, so we kind of have a gauge of how soon we need to be able to help them, but then we can offer to give them guidance on anything they need. And then we're going to request to schedule time to chat with them. Let's get them on the phone and let's have a good conversation with them, start building that relationship. So now that we have a subject, that's kind of the overall goal, what I'm hoping this message to articulate, we can hit submit. Now you're going to see Sam is going to start thinking about it. Our little Workflow Secrets logo is going to start spinning. And Sam is going to think about it and it's going to actually write something. So now you see the subject line got filled out. Welcome to the home buying journey. And we have an email. We can go ahead and use this email as a first draft. We can click in here, start writing and infusing ourselves into this email. But we now have the guts inside of it. So this is a really cool way, again, to utilize SAM to really just help creation, get that first draft going and really have something on the page that we can just start to begin with, right? So now that we've got this, I do want to draw attention to something else. Now, I call these messages for a very important reason. They're technically not emails, they're technically not text messages, they're messages. Now, I say that because if you remember back to the contact card, we have that preference section. Now, I like to say, I'm a millennial, don't call me, right? I don't really like phone calls. So my preference is going to probably be email or text message. But if I've written a message template and it is an email template inherently or just automatically, but my preference is text message, SMS. we've got a couple of parameter shifts, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I've received some text messages that were supposed to be emails before, and it just looks and feels funny, right? And so inside of SAM, I built a way for SAM to help us out with this as well. So if you see next to that email on the very top right-hand side, you have a text message thing. Now, parameters inside a text message, it's typically 160 characters. And so obviously this email isn't going to do for us what we need to do. So let's go ahead and click into text message. Because I don't have a text message built out just yet, Sam's going to say, hey, you don't have an email or a text message. Would you like to make one? And so I can go ahead and say yes. Now, what Sam's going to do is it's going to take that email format, it's going to convert it into a text message format. And now we have a text message that is going to give the overall goal of this email. So now we have both message types built into this one template. So that's really cool. And so now go ahead and read it, review it, make sure it sounds good, make sure it sounds like you, and make sure it has all the information you're looking for. But once we are done with that, we have both an email, a text message. We either imported in a template, or we wrote a template, or we had Sam help us write that template, and we can go ahead and infuse ourselves into it and hit save. Now from here, we have our message built out, and we can go ahead, we can start either adding all of the different templates that we have either saved in our Google Docs like me, or maybe they were in a different system and we were able to gather them. And we can start using SAM to help build these messages. Now we're going to dive into what we're going to use these for in a couple other trainings very shortly, but for now, go ahead, follow along and build out these messages. Maybe try your hand at using SAM with that objective that I have included in the email that you received, and we can go ahead and start creating some really cool templates. We are going to be using that template that we create in future videos, so let's go ahead, let's build it out, let's make it look good, and we will use it exactly how it's intended in the next training.